welcome back to EPIC46 with Intel, sponsored by XP Pro Eyewear, Overclockers, and Asus Republica Gamers. I nearly nailed it.
You got it. You were close,
so
my friend.
nearly.
It's a list of great friends of ours, isn't
So
it?
nearly.
Yeah.
But I'm Sovereign, I'm joined back again with Sheba, and we are ready for another game of Valorant inside our group stages. We're at round 6 now, over halfway through. Anyone particularly stood out to you so far? Or
I mean,
kind of all as expected?
Currently 5 and Drive, I'm enjoying. I think they're quite a cool team. Control are a crazy team as well. They've been playing very, very well. And Team Coalesce, who we're going to be casting, are another really, really good team to note. Currently, Coalesce are actually the reigning Epic champions. They are the acquired Aconite roster from last Epic, who took down teams like Jilly with what was it? With Gogs. Gogs was on the other team on the Last Resort. Took down the Last Resort last Epic. They also took down Smiles' team, which was extremely stacked. Had Porky Chop, had loads of other really strong players. So Coalesce are definitely coming back with a little bit more of an intimidating set of teams to be dealing with. But they've had a smooth run so far. A couple scary maps here and there, but generally speaking, they're still floating their boat.
I agree. They started off, they've won, they had a bye win, and then they won. They did drop round 4 to Turkey Worky.
Yep.
11-8. So, 11-8? That's not how maths works. 13-8.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's necessarily a massive cause for concern. It was still fairly competitive. We didn't cast out, we didn't see that.
Turkey Worky are a really good team. That's Porky Chop's team. Porky Chop and Smiles teams, you don't mess with. They're really, really good.
And we're still waiting to hear back about the results of Team Coalesce and Sogbox, but if I was a betting man, I'd imagine
I'd put Coalesce.
I'd pick Coalesce as well.
I would definitely put Coalesce.
On the other side of our match, we have a team we've already covered before, Wash My Belly. They have not had similar success.
Unfortunately not, no.
No, they have.
They are one of the bottom seeds of the tournament, so their group has definitely not been easy. I'm granted, I can imagine they are here for fun, but
yeah,
it's a little intimidating
they
when you have to face a team like Coalesce, who are not only champions of the last event, but just generally speaking, really, really strong. I believe they are like the top 5 seeds in the tournament, if not top 4, top 3. So they are still a force to be reckoned with, even if they've lost to Turkey Worky, who are a great team. Like they are. It's not really a discounting thing to note that they lost to a team like that. This Epic is so stacked, and so competition is really coming to them this time, and they're going to have to defend that title with a lot of grace. And I think this time, unfortunately for Wash My Belly, they're going to be another victim in potentially what is the slaughter here, because the difference in level of these two teams is really, really strong. Wash My Belly need to more look into popping off in a couple moments, show that they're not going to go out in a whimper, because it's going to be very, very difficult as a betting man to vote against this matchup in favor against Coalesce.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And I mean, looking at EPIC46 as a whole as well, at least in terms of Valorant, from my knowledge, we have double the amount of teams compared to EPIC45. So we went from 8 to 17 this event.
Yeah.
So there's just so much more quality, it seems. Because obviously you have Team Coalesce, but Team Coalesce aren't at the top of their group at current.
No, not currently. There are some other very, very terrifying teams like Twisted Saints, who looked, in my mind, to be the favorites of the tournament. You also have Control, who are on an absolute rampage. Course's team. When you know Course's on a team, you know for a fact that if that team is trying, they are serious contenders. And you also have, we've already mentioned like Turkey Worky, for example. Yeah. That's another really strong team. There are quite a few coming in that can be a big challenge for this Coalesce roster. But I think they are definitely able to take the challenge. They have a really strong synergy. They are kind of like a band of brothers. They've stuck around, no roster changes, nothing crazy. They went through thick and thin last Epic, managing to bring themselves back after going down at some deficits against the Last Resort, and coming back not only to beat the Last Resort, but then also take down Jelly, who were the undisputed favorites of the tournament at the time. So that is something this team has a lot of tenacity, a lot of willpower, and a lot of trust in each other. I think that's one thing that's going to make this team exciting to watch against the stronger teams, is that they will keep on playing even if it's a bit one-sided. And I think that's really, really exciting for me. And I'm really curious about the Vetoes too, because I think one thing that's a little scary for me with this Coalesce team is no Icebox being around. Icebox was one of their best maps, and Icebox not being in this pool is a little scary. Wash My Belly, same stuff, generally speaking, the same bans that we're going to be seeing. Sunset, Sunset, Part, and Split all being banned. Corrode is the decider, which is great. We love Corrode. It's an amazing map. It's one of those maps I've always wanted to see casting LAN. And never got the chance to see it last Epic, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it this one.
How would you say it favors? Would it favor something like Wash My Belly with someone like VALORANT going in, wanting to use their aggressive play style, maybe try and get a few early wins off their own back, try and put their team ahead? I imagine unlikely against a team as stacked as Coalesce and as experienced, but do you think there's opportunities in a map like this, or not really?
I think Corrode is one of those maps where it's very map control heavy, and I think a team like Coalesce actually really are favored on this map. They are big fans of running double controller. They're big fans of running the Harbor, which, although isn't the best agent on this map, is still viable and playable on a map like this if they choose to do so. So I know Miso on Coalesce is a big Harbor player. And I think as well, I'm really curious on the aggressive approach that Coalesce will go into in terms of those offensive agents like Duelists. I don't know whether or not they'd go Neon or if they'd go Yoru or Jet. Miso is a really strong Duelist on this Coalesce team. The MVP of last Epic. And so that should tell you the scary magnitudes that this player can put alongside the rest of the amazing Coalesce roster. I think it's really normal to be running the typical other agents, such as the scan initiator like Fade. Fade has kind of made her place in this map as the main scan to go into. And for flashes, you can generally take your pick. Recently, KO has been very popular in Tier 1, but KO is a little bit more difficult to use. They could either go with a double Duelist Yoru setup, or they could go with a very bog standard flash agent like, I don't know, let's say Sky, who maybe isn't the best, but still a fair balanced option, especially considering that she was one of the less nerfed initiators in the recent patch. And so there are a lot of questions being raised whether or not they run double controller or they run Sentinel. If I was to predict Coalesce, I think they're going to be running double controller. Harbor is definitely a valid option, potentially. Waylay has also been a huge agent on this map, and as I mentioned Waylay, Miso is right there insta-locking the Waylay. This has also been a really strong agent for Corrode, and surprisingly enough, we initially were thinking that Waylay was one of those agents that would only be strong with double Duelist, but it's actually been proven by a lot of teams, especially at the very top, that solo Waylay is a great option here as a Duelist take. It's very good to take that quick space and get out really safely. And on top of that, the lineups you can do with some of your slows, on top of the safety in some of the angles you can take with your lightspeed dash, is really good for an agent like Waylay.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna put my 2 cents here, and I'm gonna assume Wash My Belly are probably gonna take some probably more comfort picks. We can see that they've got those 2 duelists there.
Yep.
VALORANT's back on their preferred duelist that we saw in round 2. They have a Cypher again. They're changing out a couple of different agents in and out.
They're debating that agent pool. They definitely have not been too bad on this map, but I don't blame them, honestly. I think for Coalesce, this is very much, I think as well, just for production purposes, I think the names are actually swapped the wrong way around. Coalesce is on the right side and Wash My Belly is on the left. But to add to what you were saying, this is definitely meant to be kind of a comfort composition that Coalesce are going to be running. They're going to be running the Fade, they're going to be running the Solo Smokes on Omen, and ISO coming in from Ivy, one of the other strongest players on the team, finding going to be a bit more enabled. But for Coalesce, this is very much a match where it's protocol practice, it's confidence boosting, it's the type of thing where you need, for this team, there isn't a significant amount of pressure to win. It's very much more not revealing too many strategies, but just making sure those fundamentals are still built, those comms are still good. Coalesce are still the type of team that no matter what, they are going to put in that effort and keep winning no matter what. And I like the composition they're running too. They are running that KO, which is really nice to see. They're going to be also running the double controller, like we called. No Harbor, sadly, on Miso or Joak. I know both of those players have been a little bit fond of running those agents. No Sentinel either. So it's going to be hidden on Sova as well. So no Fade, which is interesting to see. Not something that is common with a comp like this, I'd like to think. I feel like Fade actually has a bit more versatile options with double controller alongside that, but it's again, Sova is still a fantastic agent. It really is. It's not a matter of it being a bad agent at all. Sova is still fantastic, the next best option. I think Coalesce here to just make sure they are nice and sharpened in the shed for the really big matches that will matter in bracket stage.
And I think that's the thing. And you've got Nisu already claiming their first kill as they make their way onto the site. And I think it's just I don't think Team Coalesce are going to muck around here. I don't think they're going to play with their food as they continue to chase down and find good guy. Juki gets one, Joke finds another, and it's the favours on the side of Team Coalesce as they're able to just out-frag in the pistol round. Spike's down. Yeah, I think, like I said, it's... And like you also alluded to, it's about them just keeping themselves sharp. Ivy finds a nice one, but is eventually traded out. It's about them just keeping their whistles wet, making sure they're still warm going through. Because I think they're in the top 4 of their group, Team Coalesce.
Yeah.
They're not in any danger at the moment. They're probably definitely going to go through to playoffs. We both imagine. I don't see this being an issue. I imagine this is probably going to be a kind of quick affair.
I would say it would be a crazy upset if this team did not make it through at least to playoffs.
Yeah.
That would be a big upset, big surprise. You can argue, yes, now the teams are way more stacked. It's going to be a lot harder for Coalesce than it already was last time. But you still have to remember, like, these guys still beat some crazy good teams in this tournament. And I think that's going to be, it's going to be a big surprise if they don't make it. But that being said, I'd like to know as well, despite this contact being made, Victini somehow gets away with his life. 22 health, and now the shield being popped here from Ivy. Contact being shifted now up through mid. A great pivot rotation here from Coalesce as Joak 2 going to be able to win this down. I wanted to mention that it's interesting to see the role change here from Coalesce because Joak, more often than not, is actually the Sentinel Lurk player. So more often than not, they would run the secondary Viper or the Sentinel, depending on what map it would be. And he was a very, very strong player on that lurking style. And to see him on the Initiator on the KO is really interesting to see as a role change. And I'm interested in that reasoning, not to question it one bit. I think it's just something cool to think about and to maybe ask the team what made them go into that. Because I know Joak was a huge, huge asset in the lurking category there. But I think with the way they're going to format things, I think Bubs running on this Omen might be something that he's a bit more comfy on, perhaps.
I think to expand on your point as we wait for Mikola to be eventually put down by Miso is, I think them switching those roles around probably is designed just to show off that they are versatile, they've got plans, they've got adaptability, especially as they want to go forward and play games against people like Control, people like TSE, those that are currently topping their groups at the moment. I think it's just a good muscle memory exercise to make sure that they're all on the same page, and it's probably why I haven't checked their map pool yet of what they've played and what they haven't played, but I imagine they've probably played a fair few different maps against weaker opponents just to brush up on skills. As Victini wants to try and get a first pick, quickly dips back away, a bit better of improvement from when the last time we saw him out.
So, pushing out deep with an Outlaw in hand, it would be really lethal. This Paranoia will not land, so Victini still gets a good shot onto Misu there. Early pick down. This is the bonus round, but Victini gets a little greedy there, and forgetting about Bubs' judges. A bit of a big mistake when you go into that aggressive take, right? And with that, numbers established back into Coalesce's favor. I think Juki is looking to find a moment to strike once this free hit comes in. That side smoke is huge for Bubs as well. A lot of pressure being applied.
It's whether or not Good Guy or indeed any member of Wash My Belly can use the smoke to his advantage as Juki's going around, but it's been read. Joak and Miso immediately responding to this potential flank.
Judge from Bubs is really, really impressive. Good at keeping Good Guy Rule at bay here, as Juki is just desperate to find a 1v1 to isolate. Look how well Coalesce are essentially coordinating this. They're taking this slow and finding ways to group together so they can just oppress with numbers alone. Good Guy Raw is going to get caught off by Bubs so quickly, and that, with Spike planted, it's up to Juki to pick up the pieces of his fallen brethren. You've got quite a lot of members here low, but what can you do?
They're all low, but they've got the intel, and I think they've got the utility, and Aiden takes their head off. Yeah, I think it's their classes apart at the moment. As you could, like, Coalesce, they're taking their time, they're measured, they're making sure it's only 4v2. They could have tried to shove it, but they wanted to make sure we've got the control, let's execute this properly, let's not throw this away. It doesn't matter, we've got time. They had 30 seconds before they even committed to that execute. Made sure the utility was, they used walls to block line of sights and pressure the last remaining members of Wash My Belly to make maybe irrational pushes they wouldn't normally have done.
Yeah, agreed. this next take coming in, financials now hugely enhanced for Coalesce. And I think at this point, it's very much delaying the inevitable and just hoping that Watch My Belly can do a bit of damage. Orb is snagged there from Ivy, so that's a good small band-aid. Aside from that, 1 by 1, Watch My Belly are getting picked off. Miso with a good catch from Bikini's luck. It's a good pick there. And it looks like with that pick alone, they're going to be rotating quickly. They think it's going to be an A hit. And B's open with 4 Coalesce members here.
This is a misread if I've ever seen one.
Almost a... What's the term? It's like... It's chaos in a weird way. You get 1 pick against... from your lurk. And with getting that pick off the lurk, you assume that that's the hit. They overthunk it. They really panicked in that. And that's opened up the site entirely here for Coalesce.
They seem to have got this nice formula as Miso is pressing up into the high end of the building, trying to take one onto Ivy, loses out, but Hayden finds one to Mikola. Joak cleans up Ivy, 1v4, it's not looking particularly good. Detected as well for good guy. So they just know that throw every bit of utility we've got left at him, block him out, let the bomb time out.
Surely if you're a good guy rule, just save.
I would agree. Like,
surely, right?
I'm not sure why you're trying to go for this.
Remains the player sees out, tagged, spammed, it's over. Good guy rule cannot do a thing about it. An attempt of maybe grabbing one, depleting a little bit more of that economy, but Coalesce are swimming in cash. You really don't need to do this. Maybe you would get more money if you were to save potentially. That might be the reason why. I'm not exactly sure how much money he had. I mean, saving the Vandal is instantly a good idea, I would say. Yeah. You'd have enough money now with that Vandal in hand to get full U2 and shields. I'm really surprised that this, you saw that commit coming through, but hey, maybe he felt a little greedy and wanted to snag some picks for his KD or something like that. Regardless of it, it's only going deeper in the negatives.
I think he wanted to do some kind of hero play. As Miso and the rest of Team Coalesce maybe wanting to go maybe pick up the pace, at least from these early signs. Vikinti gets one onto Miso. Can they stay alive and get a second pick?
Excellent flash. Good pop flash up from Joak.
Juki finds another one. Miso finds good guy rule. This is fairly trade friendly. This is the first time I think both teams have been free for free.
Important to know that there is a kill contract there in the hands of the ISO in Ivy. Victini can grab a pick here, which fails, unfortunately. Being a man like Miso, the fool's errand for most players here.
Making cover.
I think Ivy can only really bring this for Watch My Belly if we get 1 or 2 picks here and give you some numbers advantage through that kill contract. But this is just excellently done in a post plant here for Coalesce. Ivy and Miso playing together. Miso, was that Miso one bulleting? Was that really what I was watching right there? Did Miso just try and one bullet? Okay, man. Okay. Well, it's 5-0 for Coalesce. Another obscenely dominant win at the moment. 8-1 for Joak, 5-1 for Miso. It is such rosy pastures for Coalesce at the moment.
And they don't seem stressed. This seems quite effortless to them. They're not worrying. Like, that round was slightly better from Watch My Belly. Like, they managed to get some trades back on the board, but it just, I think it's just a matter of Coalesce are just kind of being that one above.
Great flash there from Joak. Stop any kind of potential peek. That's the value that KO has in its disposal. Krebs, though, double plays, both broken. Great timing there as the kill contract will catch one. Scan, Bubs. Good dodge of the movement. And Ivy loses the one-on-one in the kill contract.
Yeah, the trades are getting better and better as we seem to get deeper into this 2v2. Vikinti is still alive as well.
Oh my God, I thought that was
a good guy.
I thought that was Hayden for a second. I was like, how did you get in the way with that? Victini, no. Pokemon of victory. Staring down defeat.
Can Victini play hero?
He is able to.
I agree. I think they can.
Important to note is that in 15 seconds time, you're going to have Hayden with this Dart, the Recon, and you also have Hunter's Fury if you so choose to leave to play main. And so you've got good protocols, and I think this is a safe post-plant crosshair from Coalesce. When it's a 2-on-1, this isn't a bad idea at all. You're covering both entrances here.
I think if I was Vikinti, I would have wanted to try and move a bit quicker, knowing that they would have their util back, but
It's not a lot of time, and he's so paranoid. There's no way of knowing. And he just walks into the meat grinder of Hayden and Joak underneath Heart. Coalesce at this point are almost playing with their food. It's ruthless.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think bar round 2, Coalesce have planted the spike every time, or did they even plant it in round 2 and plant it every time? I can't remember.
Not too sure, but they are very consistent with those site takes. They are big fans of having organized group executes and then confirming the plant and then locking in for post-plant. They're a very calculated team in some of their XX, and they have well-placed protocols.
I'm out of here.
And so it's good to see, because this is one of few teams that we have in this tournament who are well-orchestrated teams who practice every day, who write up strat books, who have a dedicated, strong IGL in Bubs, who's also a sick shooter, let's add. So, Coalesce are the real deal here.
Vikendi spending their abilities to find nothing. Juki with a double, though.
Could this be a chance for Wash My Belly to get an opening kill here and an inaugural piece in this round?
Unideal that Vikendi's already used some of their utility, but they've got weapons now and they can try and capitalize on the success of Juki prior. Miso going for a plant as Vikendi having a duel long range with Bubs. Miso gets double.
Miso, man. Wow. Lean on the one-taps there. Eagle peeking. Taking down the firing squad single-handedly until Good Guy Raw will spoil the party and take him down with the Odin from distance. Up to Makilla and Good Guy Raw together. With this Nightfall, could be really, really huge. Decay is in, and Makilla has an excellent position, and he grabs, she grabs both. And that's the inaugural round for Wash My Belly.
That was brave, and I think good on Makilla, going through that big Viper sort of blocking line of sight, managed to find one, and I believe that they sprayed through the crates and got the second one. Perhaps a misplay of player placement on the side of Coalesce, knowing that you can get sprayed through that. Not ideal. So, Wash My Belly on the board. It's not a complete blowout. It's alright.
Yeah, I think with Coalesce, they wanted to play on those close quarters angles because they know that gun is going to be a bit stronger on the accuracy at that distance, right? But I think on top of that, maybe the positioning of Joak was a little bit too, the positioning of Miso was a little bit too passive. Instead, holding a bit of a stronger angle to account for another side. But at the same time, you've got no clue where they're going. The Nightfall gives away your position. And Juki with a clean opening pick onto Bubs will swiftly have an exchange for Miso, but does take a lot of damage. It is labored, but Ivy somehow unable to finish off Miso with only 10 HP. And that's given a back-to-back exchange here. Good Guy Raw getting one of their own as well. This is very hectic.
3v3, but there's a health advantage towards Wash My Belly. But I believe both the duelists are gone, so now they have to rely perhaps on a retake if they want to get any joy, as the members of Team Coalesce want to progress and seem to want to force A. They've got options, but it looks like they're going and committing to the plant as they plant on A. Now, setting up using what bits of utility they've got left to keep members of Wash My Belly, who are all stacked up, looking to go on to find Miso. Ult from Sova. I don't think finds any joys. Miso finds 2. Now it's a 2v1.
Solitary here. Good Guy Raw needing to act up, isolate these 1v1s, but Coalesce are not giving them an inch. Exactly how you play situations like these. Look at well placed this is. Playing almost, it's in a way playing with their food in the most professional way you can imagine. It's almost like playing with your food at the Queen's dinner table.
I kind of agree.
Gameplay that I'm watching here from Coalesce.
There's a stark difference between the sort of messing around we saw in our last casted game between Five and Drive and Delta X, where there was
Odin Neon.
when there was a bit of ego coming. It's just Coalesce are like, we don't need to overly commit. We'll do some bits and pieces. They're just taking it slow. They're not stressing out about anything.
They're merciless in a very calm way.
Yeah.
And I like to see that from Coalesce. And that's what we were saying, how the goal for Coalesce on this match wasn't necessarily to win. They're very confident in that. It's more so just to nail down, iron down protocols, practice comms, ensure they feel fresh, give themselves a confidence boost. That's why they're not playing with much mercy here. They're still playing as you would. Look at this coordinated timed flash. A little bit off on the timing, but very close to being just right. With Miso and Joak together in unison, picking out through Pocket, and Joak with 2 clean kills to take down the resident of Pocket and CT retake. Not much Victini can do in this situation. Stuck with a judge, hoping that maybe there's a little bit of over-greeding to get yourself that bonus KD. But I think they have a general take, especially now that they used the pistol to take down that recon dart. They know something's up. And I think Joak is looking to just grab an extra orb, which is why he's the one peeking out. And even with a judge, it is flawless from Coalesce.
It's, yeah, a nice flawless round from Coalesce. They go and execute, especially with someone like Misu leading that charge. Even though they didn't quite catch the player they wanted to, it's just that they're applying this pressure that Wash My Belly don't seem to be able to deal with. And it's not the rapid, hyper-aggressive pressure that we saw out of Vicenti in their last series that we casted. It's a slow, pincer-like squashing as it just collapses and collapses around Wash My Belly.
This time, Wash My Belly are playing a little more coordinated. You've got 3 members here off of A main, looking to claim extra space and give info. You know that Miso, when lurking around, likes to call these rotations. Bubs is a slow, methodical IGL. I think Team Coalesce, they're looking to just, in this time, just instantly initiate. Just like they did in their pistol on the exact same protocol, and Hayden will swiftly take care of Makilla, and that is the Cypher down. No cam, no trips, no cages for retake floods, nothing for Wash My Belly, aside from just their raw skill and hopefully a little bit of extra movement here.
Miso able to find Ivy before getting refragged, but again, that puts the body count in their team side. Miso and Hayden fighting one apiece as well. And Wash My Belly scrambling to try and do anything for this retake, but I just don't think they've got anything in them. Juki finds one onto Bubs, but that was all that he was able to write before being gunned down by Misu.
Yeah, I think at this rate, I think Wash My Belly are trying to have a little bit of extra fun. You know, if this was an actual serious game where it was winnable, I would have been flaming Juki for not saving. But I do think, like, hey, just mess around and get some kills. He did get his 1, which is, hey, that's a plus. 8 and 10, not the worst KD considering you were 9 and 1 down.
It does seem like the writing is on the wall for Wash My Belly, which is unfortunate to say, but you've come up against EPIC46 champions who are looking, I imagine, to make a repeat of this with the same roster.
They are a team that give themselves high standards, and even then they give their opponents a lot of respect.
Misu finds the first opening pick as Hayden wants to try and tap spray, trying to clip either Mikla or Junkie through the smoke. They back off. Misu finds good guy. And now it's a very
Victini.
Yeah, very slim man day as the rest of Wash My Belly try to come to Victini's aid.
Look at this, Makilla's trying to sneak up thinking that they've gone for a complete exec, and Bubs on this off angle will just catch her out completely unaware.
I imagine,
almost like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, I imagine Makilla was only hoping to catch maybe 1 flank guard, not 3 members of Team Coalesce being like, I'm going to go to B now instead. And I'm enjoying team. They're not messing around. They're not just going to be like, oh, okay, there's members on A, but there's only 3 of them. We know what's happened. We'll kill the flankers. Duke finds one onto Hayden. We're just going to go over to B because we know it's going to be unoccupied.
I think it's just generally quite nice to see Coalesce still looking in solid form. You know, granted, you can't really hold a high standard for their opponents currently, but it's good to see that like some of that synergy that we loved from them in the last epic is still around. Misu 15 and 5, keeping that rep up top. 13 and 3 from Joak as well. It's nice to still see Coalesce locked in. You've all got that no command, which has been kept in line for Joak for quite a while. But granted, they haven't really needed it probably until now into this last round. Looking for a hyper-aggressive take, maybe looking into potential instant take, and if they know it's the strong site, they'll probably pop the ult quickly. If not, straight away off of this flash once space is in. Got Misu initiating this recall and light speed. Out comes the no command here. And Misu in 1v1 rule caught, but the bait of the flank is there. Thankfully for Coalesce though, Joak excellently uses that ultimate utility to bait himself and become rezzed once again. Back up like him going down almost never happened. And so with that, it's a 2-on-5, it's a 3-on-5 now, with the From the Shadows initiated here. It's going to be used to... oh, goodness, Misu, that was savage. Victini, you know, picturing his anime flashbacks, thinking, now it's my time to shine, and then just instantly one-tapped by the strongest duelist here.
I was going to say, before Team Coalesce did exactly what I thought they were going to do, is like, I imagine the last round of this half, they're probably just going to go quicker than they've been going. And whilst it wasn't the fastest take we've ever seen, it was still fairly quick by our standards. They went there, established what they could, killed everyone, bar the little hiccup with not knowing about the Wash My Belly player in the corner. They went, won their gunfights, established their position, planted a spike, as has been their memo. And it seems like they're getting the spike planted ASAP as they can, normally within 30 seconds, 45 seconds-ish. It feels quite quick. They're not leaving it to the last minute like we've seen some teams do.
Coalesce are they're a methodical team. They're happy to take things slowly. They aren't Fnatic. They aren't like Fnatic. They won't stress out so much where they will run things down very quickly. But it doesn't change the fact that with this new half coming in, those who know Fnatic know they came back 11-1 down. And although you can maybe have a little extra doubts with this scenario, you know, it's still reasonable to have a little bit of hope for Wash My Belly. Victini, obviously always the one at the forefront who you'd expect to be the catalyst of that.
It seems that Wash My Belly, it seemed like they were going fast, but also I think Team Coalesce were more than happy to concede the bomb site to them. They've positioned themselves around for a retake. Victini wanted to get something done, can't get anything done, and that's 3 members of Wash My Belly dead before you know it. Juki is good for 1, but that might be all that they're able to get.
Oh, no one tap from Misu. He had a 1 bullet again. Oh, not this time. Second one tap attempt that we've seen on stream not happen, unfortunately. But yeah, for Coalesce, I mean, that was just a really good pincer play. Surprising that they made the read that they were going to aggress down. Maybe that wasn't initially the plan. Maybe they were just trying to go for retakes and kind of build up that retake from pocket through main. But it seems like they came to them and Coalesce didn't really have to do much except shoot, and shoot they did.
Very much so, and like you look at the kills and stuff, and it doesn't seem like they've had immaculate games. I think everyone's kind of been pulling their weight. There's not necessarily been one massive standout player on the side of Team Coalesce. I think everyone's been more or less pulling their weight and doing quite well.
More or less.
Misu wanting to spray down, keep some kind of pressure on Wash My Belly, maybe anticipating they want to rush again and try their luck, as it seems that 3-4 members are wanting to press onto this B site, take the fight to the Viper of Team Coalesce on B site, and they begin their execute. Juki's going for the plant, and you've got all the members of Coalesce still alive, and they're beginning to flock to the defense. Victini gets 1 and is only good for 1.
Victini gets his 1. That's 1+. We'll say that. Jericho's also taken down, so that's a good retake agent taken away. Those flashes and that nade for zoning, and the knife as well is gone. You still have Hayden on this dart, but he's caught by Makilla on a really well-timed lurk. It might actually be a 1 round, unless Misu above has something to say about it. It's up to Makilla. Still very capable of doing so, but Misu's defusing the spike, and so, time ticking down, there is simply no room left here for Wash My Belly. They can be glad that they can at the very least not get fully swept there. But 13-1, Coalesce looking in the form like we would expect. Good protocols, good play, good individual skill. Thankfully, what we would expect, this team doesn't seem to have fallen off one bit. We have to wait and see how they do against the much stronger teams, but so far, so good.
I really enjoyed watching Team Coalesce play. It felt structured and organised, and they knew which buttons to press and which buttons not to press at certain points.
The calls to make, yeah.
Yeah, they were, they invited Wash My Belly. You can play your game, that's fine. Play whatever game you want to, but we know how to counter it. And it seemed that they had answers. Not only they had answers, but they were also just gunning far more effectively than Wash My Belly were even could. Victini had quite a quiet game, I felt.
Yeah.
Especially compared to what we saw in round 2. And it's just not, it's unideal. And I think that round, there was a hope of Makilla doing something. So I was going to point out, as like, Makella's on a flank, this could be huge. And they get the 1, but it just seems that the rest of our teammates couldn't quite keep it going. So it just unfortunate for Wash My Belly.
Yeah. Not the time, you know, unfortunately the stronger players from last time they played were not able to act up as before. We have to give a shout out to Juki though, who was a bit of an outlier there, did get some good individual kills. So if there was one bit of silver line we can give to Wash My Belly, it was the strong performance from Juki. So well done Juki, but honestly, doing not too bad, considering it was 13-1, still getting double-digit kills is respectable 100%. So that's 1+ we have to give. But Coalesce, looking like the Coalesce we hope, we know and love. Hopefully that will continue into this tournament, but thankfully for now, we have more games to come. So this isn't the last one, don't you worry. We'll be back after the break for another match in groups. It's not over yet.